where we've got a smaller drain or less home sales, larger faucet to increase the water supply, larger reservoir so that the water or housing inventory can fill up and thus more homes can be available to more buyers. And thanks to supply and demand, home prices will move to a more reasonable and affordable level. We've already discussed shrinking the drain or home sales to keep more inventory in the market to soften prices. Then we've covered adding additional inventory, the water in the tub from our analogy, from existing home supply. Next was taking the low flow super aerated shower head and turning it into a cascading waterfall of a faucet so we could pump fresh new inventory into the tub. And today we cover the water main, or basically the main system allowing all that inventory into the market. And that is simply the government. Now, don't get me wrong, it's really up to the individual homeowner or builder to make things happen, but it's the local, state, and federal governments that either help or harm the process. Things like zoning laws, to the permitting process, to fees, to grants, to tax incentives for owners and builders and suppliers, and on and on. So what are the key areas to focus on? In my opinion, it all revolves around zoning, permitting, and incentives. And as I say, all government is local, so let's kick it off with zoning. We need much better cooperation between local, state, and federal government. This is an ongoing push-me-pull-you back and forth between all these parties. Even now, trying to pass current legislation, the big debate is how much control to give each city to encourage housing development versus state-directed mandates. But when it's boots on the ground time, we need a more flexible zoning structure allowing greater density in residential areas to encourage duplexes and ADUs. Got an oversized lot? Boom, you're in. Put up an ADU, no muss, no fuss, things like that. Next, we need to get that local permitting process shortened up. If we can get a vaccine out to the masses, our local cities could certainly find a way to streamline the permitting process to get our builders moving quicker. Maybe even a city-approved builder list and a pre-approved ADU and small home plan ready to go. Now, we're not talking shortcutting safety or health by any means, but if a builder would be able to be pre-approved for some part of the process because, say, they ordered prefab components by an approved vendor, maybe there were some self-certify items they could be spot checked in order to expedite the process, even for a limited time. That would be great. And finally, but really first, incentives. It's really the grand poobah when it comes to getting things done. And it can make up for a lot of other deficiencies. And with how the federal government has been printing money lately, it seems like they're even more likely to throw money at the problem. And if they're throwing, who should have their hands out? Well, here we go. Local governments certainly toss out some incentives to build available housing base in whatever manner makes sense. Experts say we're somewhere between 30 and 50% deficient in what we need. So add some incentives for local governments to reduce those numbers. Next handout would be suppliers. Toss out some tax incentives or short-term loans at low interest rates or whatever it takes to increase production and innovation. Then we're talking builders. Same goes for them. Lower interest rate construction financing and tax incentives to build, maybe even cities releasing city land on better terms for local housing construction. And last, but I think the most important, is the individual homeowners and investors, the folks who decide on a moment's notice to put their homes in the market. Let's increase that capital gain exclusion and allow it to cover up to 3 properties, primary or not. Also give primary owners guaranteed low-cost financing to trade up, freeing up more entry point properties. Then give them some direct financial assistance, like a seller version of down payment assistance program for the buyers. And if the government wants to mail out $15,000 checks to buyers, drop a couple thousand to the seller for working with that first-time buyer. Now you're saying to yourself, but Shane, the seller is already getting all the money. Why do we need to give them any more? Well, go back and watch my prior videos in this series and you'll know why. Short answer is, we're all in this together, so everyone takes a hit to make this work. And homeowners control the inventory, at least the vast majority of the inventory. So there you have it, my 5-part series on fixing the housing crisis while I figured it out while taking a shower. Turning that housing crisis from a metaphorical high-flow shower into a steaming hot bubble bath, ducky-filled tub of available and affordable home goodness. Steamy romance novel included. What do you think? What are your ideas? They're probably way better than mine. Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, hit the like button. In the meantime, YouTube thinks you'll like this next video. So check it out. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a Palm Springs day.